More than 3 million pages of documents related to the convicted sex offender and paedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, have been released by the US Justice Department. Among them are photographs which appear to show Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor leaning over a young woman on the floor. I wonder if he's on a first aid course. It's unclear when or where the pictures were taken, and the identity of the woman has been hidden. First, though, GB News political editor Christopher Hope reports from Tokyo on the Prime Minister's response to the latest Epstein files release.
Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has waded in to the row about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and the increasing evidence of the closeness of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced paedophile. 3 million documents released overnight in America. Some of those contain more evidence and photographs of Mountbatten-Windsor's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. But the Prime Minister has been speaking to journalists en route from Beijing to Tokyo as part of his Far Eastern trip. He says this, that in terms of the request from Congress for Andrew to give evidence to congressmen and others on Capitol Hill, he says yes. In terms of testifying, the Prime Minister says, I have always said that anybody who has got information should be prepared to share that information in whatever form they are asked to do that. You can't be victim-centred, says the Prime Minister, if you're not prepared to do that. So further pressure on Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor to go to Congress and say what he knew to people there investigating Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor denies all wrongdoing regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Christopher Hope in Tokyo for GB News.
Well, joining me now is former Press Secretary to Queen Elizabeth II, Ailsa Anderson. Welcome to the show. I think that breaking news is quite astounding, isn't it? That's pressure like we've never seen on the royal family from our government.
Absolutely. The royal household and the royal family, the monarchy, do not want to be talked about by the British Prime Minister. And you're right to say it's almost unprecedented. So it actually sort of ramps up the story even further, even if it could be ramped up even further. I mean, it's in every front page. It's the most extraordinary story. And of course, it's been going since 2010. It's 16 years this story has been continuing. I've never known anything like it at all.
So there's a degree, I think, that people are tired of this. They feel that they know what Andrew is now. They know what kind of person he is. It's not a very nice one. Of course, all of these are allegations. Nothing has ever been proven. But do you think this extra pressure changes things? Do you think it ramps it up just a little bit more so that more action is going to have to come from the royal family?
To be absolutely honest, I don't know what more could be done by the royal family. He's been stripped of his titles. He's been booted out of his home, Royal Lodge, which he's lived in for a long time. He's been banished to Norfolk to stay in a cottage. What more can be done? He's even been stripped of his Royal Navy Admiral's title. So I think enough is enough now. I can't think of anything more that can be done. He has absolutely been ostracised, and rightly so. But I think there needs to be a line drawn now.
You don't think he should go and testify?
I do, if he's got anything to testify for. If he's got evidence to actually give, then absolutely, I would say that whether you're a prince or a pauper, totally. But it depends whether he has anything to actually say or any value added.
Your passwords are your passwords, only for your eyes. But how safe is your phone or laptop or tablet? Well, watch this. I press one button and my phone is now shielded from hackers and prying eyes. ExpressVPN is your protector. Yes, you can protect all your passwords fast across multiple devices with ExpressVPN. Premium, fast, and highly secure. Get big peace of mind for a low cost. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Protect your online life today.
Ailsa, of course, by convention, the King meets with the Prime Minister once a week. If you were to speculate following these comments, how do you think that conversation will go down when they next meet?
Well, as you know, none of us know what happens on those weekly audiences. Thank goodness. It's almost like going to a confessional in a Catholic church. Nothing comes out of it. But I'm sure there must be a reference to it. But there are bigger things going on at the moment in government. We see the Prime Minister in Tokyo now. He's just come from China. I'm sure the Prime Minister will want to talk about that to the King.
Can I just follow up on that, because it's something which I'm actually, I haven't asked any of our royal commentators before. Can you provide an insight into the relationship between the King and Starmer? Do you have any insight into how they get on, and on a personal level what the relationship is like?
I'm afraid if I could tell you, I would, but I really, really don't. And every monarch is apolitical, and they will treat their current Prime Minister with respect, with courtesy, with wisdom. And as I said, it's like a confessional. The Prime Minister of the day will know that whatever they say to the monarch, it won't go any further. And they can, rely on that wisdom. They can rely on that trust. And I think that's actually quite a rare thing to happen, especially in government.
Ailsa, hi, thank you so much for joining us. This keeps going on, not least for the public, but also for the royal family. It's, I'd imagine, quite a tiresome endeavour for them. Is there any sense of what the atmosphere is like in the royal household at the minute, and what they're planning to do to get sort of over this in the public's attention?
I think that's a really good question. I think probably on the forefront of their mind is this continuation, the drip feeding of negativity about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor actually detracts from the amazing work that the monarch and the royal family do, shining a light on the causes and charities that wouldn't necessarily get that sort of attention. So I think the main focus from them would be actually, it is almost chipping away, eroding at all the amazing work that they actually do. So they'll want it to go away.
I rather fear that the only way it will go away is if he testifies. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a really interesting insight into what's going on.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Bill Clinton have always denied all of the allegations against them. And there's a reminder too from Lord Mandelson, which I'm going to read to you just now. Trey, you didn't comment then. What do you think about this?
Do you know what? I'm looking at it lots of different ways. Number one, I think, not that I feel sorry for him, but there are lots of other people being mentioned in these files, and it just seems to keep coming back to Andrew. I'd love to hear about some of the other people that have been implicated. But I think the second thing for me is, what went on for Andrew being a spare that made him sort of become this sort of playboy prince and, easy prey to people like Epstein? I wonder what it's like, because you don't seem to see Harry behaving in that way. I think there's something particular.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
He wrote about it all in his book. I mean, but Trey, can I just add something?
Chilled kind of words. Andrew seems a bit like grubby.
Well,
there's something very grubby about what he does. The money grabbing and the rest of it. Harry was just a young lad having fun.
But we don't know that, do we?
Like they're both thickos. That's the common denominator. They're both incredibly.
And they're spares.
Yeah, is it a spare thing? That's what I'm thinking. If you're spare, you'll think, well, hey, I've got nothing to lose.
Can I add something in?
Just hop on the plane, come to the party.
But you do strike on an interesting point here. And it says a lot, I think, about the rich and powerful across the world, but also in the UK. Why is it that we're hearing about Prince Andrew? Well, it's because that his financial support and his professional PR support, etc., has pretty much been withdrawn.
Yeah.
Who hasn't it been withdrawn from? All those other very rich, very entitled men, very powerful men, who continue to be shielded from the attention of the public, despite the millions of documents being released in the Epstein files only yesterday that have shown lots of them in a terrible light.
Well,
horrific things that are alleged to have been done.
Arguably, those men, Elon Musk, Bill Clinton, maybe the President, Trump, Bill Gates, are still massively powerful people in the world. Those are people that can open the door to any leader in the world.
Yeah.
These are the people that are running the world
But
now.
critically, they can open the door to any law firm in the world and get shielded from all of this. That's why you're not hearing about it.
Yes, and that's a travesty, and that's what we do need to hear about, AJ.
I think hearing 3 million pages, there must be something else. I know it's continuous, more
They're
fuel on the fire.
heavily redacted.
And more fuel on the fire, but somebody's got them files, and in most of these scenarios, there's always leaks here and there. But fundamentally, it's quite interesting that this is the topic always put on one person, because, as you said, other people quite like it being put on this person.
Well, two people who are both on this side of the Atlantic, which is also interesting.
Yeah. But look, Branson was on the front pages today for his interactions with Epstein, which, don't look good from the correspondence that he made with him. So I get the sense that more names will continue to come out. I don't think this story is over.
No, I don't think the story's over, but I do think that there are a lot of powerful people who are preventing any real investigation into this man.
Yep.
And it beggars belief that there aren't more and more people. We've seen the manifest. We've seen who went to that island. There has to be more to come. But I do feel that the powerful people may win this battle.
The interesting thing, though, it's not powerful people, it's actually powerful men. I mean, this is like toxic masculinity on steroids, isn't it? What are powerful men getting up to with impunity, whilst young girls, very, very young girls, are suffering? It's actually sad that there's not real moral outrage around the world about it.
I think there is.
Well,
not enough to actually...
But Maxwell is the figurehead, but there was an ecosystem of intermediaries, secondary characters, third parties, and women, all in their network, providing all of this support and hiding things away from public view that allowed all of this to happen for so many years, including after Epstein's conviction.
Probably still now as well. We would never know.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that... Let's just think about Keir Starmer saying what he said today. I think that's the first time I've thought of Keir Starmer as making a stand. Usually he's just so waffly and around the edges, and we need to speak to people, and I need to go to my coalition of the willing and all of this. And he's actually said something meaningful. And he's right. Andrew should testify. Are you surprised by Starmer?
A tad, but at the same time, he's taken a stand with the man who is arguably the most hated person in the entire country, bar none.
Easy target.
So it's a pretty low-hanging fruit. Still, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that he could have grabbed over the last 18 months, which he hasn't. So I think that's a fair point, Renee.
Do you think that Mandelson should be stripped of his peerage?
I think, how long has this been going on? 16 years now, and I think we're still talking about it, and I think the Keir Starmer point is interesting. When you become so tired, just say what you think, don't you?
And the correct answer is yes, of course he should be stripped of his peerage.
So we do have a right of reply. I will read it for you again. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Bill Clinton have always denied all of the allegations against them. And there's a reminder too that there is a statement on behalf of Lord Mandelson that said he'd been very clear about his friendship with Epstein and had nothing more to add. He previously said, "I was never culpable or complicit in his crimes. Like everyone else, I learned the actual truth about him after his death. There is no suggestion that appearing in the documents implies any wrongdoing, and many people who have featured in previous releases have denied any wrongdoing in relation to Jeffrey Epstein."